Hey everybody, it is Cinnamon Cooney, your art Sherpa, and today I'm going to show you step by step how to paint adorable witch's shoes, witch's legs. She is a glam witch on every level. I love this for the 13 days of Halloween. I really this year was thinking about what do we need to have in our epic never-ending stable of step-by-step Halloween tutorials, which will be 70 by the end of this season. On the mic is my husband, John.
Hey guys.
He's also be helping me build this giant catalog of free art education for you by showing up every day, running the broadcast, making sure that one of our many cameras is pointed at whatever I'm doing. It zooms in. You're going to see the color mixing. You're going to see every step. You're going to see the techniques. You're going to see everything. And on top of that, as all this was not enough, we're all going to have a really good time and we're all going to feel better. And right now, we all need to feel a little bit better. And even if you're elated right now, maybe you could be a little more elated. But taking that little bit of time for us and, taking care of our creative side and taking care of our heart, that's so important. So if you're here for the live, hi. If you're here for the replay, hi. Just make sure that this painting session, you're setting it up to have fun. You're not putting crazy expectations on yourself. You're just being really present to enjoy the process of painting, and we're not going to make it hard. If you check the description below, it's going to take you to my website. Know what's on the website, John? He does, but I'm just leading into a question.
What's in the website?
The website has step-by-step quick look guides, and you can use that to lower that anxiety and elevate that enjoyment of your art lesson by seeing the stages of the painting that we're in. You're not going to feel like you're behind or you're missing something because it'll be right there. If you don't want to draw today, cool. It's not cheating to trace, and we have a Traceable. You can download it. Don't know how to use a Traceable? That's also cool because there's a video on that page that will tell you to do it. There's links that you need. There's questions answered. There's even a gridded guide. I'm going to show you how to use the gridding method to freehand this in. Even if you wouldn't define yourself as a drawer today, you might be like, hey, I freehanded it. And by the way, gridding does count as freehanding, technically. But bump. So there, world, right? And I guess I'm feeling sassy because she's so sassy. And also we had our day the power company got us. So flickering on, flickering off, flickering on, flickering off, flickering on, flickering off. Luckily the weather was beautiful outside, so we made the most of it. Now I'm ready to teach you right there, how to do this painting, and you can do it. So come on with me. Let's look at our materials.
All right.
Boom. Over here, we're going to start out on the background with a color called cadmium yellow. And this, in the paint line I'm using, is called cadmium red light. But I gotta tell you, this is also very close to almost a cadmium orange or traditional pyrrole orange. So what we're really looking for is a reddish orange. I know that's crazy in paint terms, but whatever paint you have, I like to describe those things so you don't have to worry about having my exact colors, even though I'm gonna share it with you. Now here you see the wonderful example of what we've got going on. And I really thought about this fabulousness. She's got her turquoise tutu. She's got her bokeh ball. She's got her cute, not scary spiders. And you love her fabulousness in her shoes. These are very couture shoes. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and it's great Halloween colors. I'm going to put this to the side as my reference. You can see my step-by-step guide is right here for me. And we're going to begin by getting the background in and chalking in the design. Now to do that, we need a surface to paint on. That's super helpful. I'm using an 11 by 14 art board. They come in packs. They're inexpensive because we could all use a little more optimism in the world and a little bit sort of tapped into that things can be okay. I really like to put wishes and intentions onto my surface. You don't have to do it, but you could join me if it's also good for you. I have a joint wish from Catherine and Yamini to just have life clear the way for more prosperity, stability, love, and joy to be the majority of the theme of their life. Just things to tune up and saturate and become just a little bit more fluid and easier. I'm also wishing out there for some of my fellow YouTubers who are under the partnership mark. I'm wishing that things get easier for you. I know how hard that is. It is definitely work right now, and I'm just hoping that something breaks and all of us art channels and all of us creators get that break that we need to be found by the audiences that love what we make. I genuinely wish that for you. I have wishes for healing for fellow YouTuber Karen R. Just like she's coming through and just doing great, overcoming her situation. And then I'm wishing for Whimsy, this is a code name, to be able to find herself after tremendous loss with more joy, hope, and a little bit of ease for her heart. And then, as I have been wishing like crazy lately, the Art Sherpa, would really dig being an official Disney artist. If you work at Disney, pick me. I'm awesome. I will do good work.
I agree. I think she's the best artist I know.
Would just be the bomb.
My unbiased opinion.
If Disney picks me, I'm taking this is one of my very favorite brushes. It's a 1-inch ultimate varnish, but I use it as a mop. Most people use a goat mop because it's just fantastic. And I'm just taking my watercolor pencil because the next layer is orange and yellow, and those are pretty transparent. And blending that watercolor pencil out. Notice that I picked a color that would blend well into what I'm doing next.
I did not know.
Yeah, I take those little moments. I make those little plans. I think Disney should have me on because here's why, John. Because I'll make more artists to work there. Right?
It's true. I think
it's an investment in their future to have more artists and more art collectors and people who get art. So they should totally work. I'm going to freak out if we ever get the letter. We're going to have to make a whole video. That would be like the ultimate pinnacle of my life. Okay. Well, no, but it would be a good thing. It
would be a good day.
Cures for major illnesses would be the ultimate pinnacle of my life. But, after the Big 10 stuff that we all wish was going on in the world for all of us, Disney artist is right up there. Okay, I'm going to begin this with a big chunky brush. Now, I'm going to use a number 30 Ruby Satin Bright. It's a really nice brush. It's short handle. Short handle is usually best for the table, but I'm so close to my easel for most painting sessions, it's really actually okay. I'm going to get it wet. I drag off the extra water. I'm going to come in and just load. See how I'm doing? Some yellow. And then I'll get a smidge of orange. I don't want my yellow to be the brightest yellow in the center. I'm just kind of wanting to make an orange painting. And I'm going to begin with sort of a light halo in the center. Now listen, if you're real new to painting and you don't like blending, guess what?
What?
Just paint your whole canvas orange. You'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
Seriously. Don't stress about my fanciness here.
It won't mess up the background?
It won't. I'm just, me.
I do know you.
I'm me, and I have to do these things where we have these fabulousness backgrounds that are just, look at this. Look at this. You can see I'm just putting this in real fast. Get a little more of my orange on here. I'm going so fast, in fact, my paint isn't drying on me. Now, if my paint were to dry on me, I would have a very hard center, right? But if I take any brush that I have, and I will grab, whoever's dry. That's what I need right now. Here's a crazy dry brush. Just a soft dry brush, and I'll just make sure that I soften these edges a little bit.
That does a nice blendy.
Now, I have a whole video on how to do this type of blending. It is also on the page if you're not a blender. This is a frustrating technique for beginners. So like I said, this painting, if you're like, no, I'm not ready for that. It was cool to see, something to put in my hat for later. Don't worry about it because on this piece, the blend is not necessary. It's just a nice touch, and sometimes it's fun to do nice touches, but don't put yourself out trying to do it. So I'm going to rinse that out. And I'm going to go ahead and even kind of orange up my outer edges a bit. Like you do. See? I'll just blend that. Just a little bit on the outer edges. Really pop them oranges.
Dude, you're supposed to squeeze the oranges.
I like to squeeze my oranges. Like a lemon squeeze. Air our grievances. YouTube is like a big, giant lemon squeeze.
Is it?
No, I don't want to be a part of that. I got a lot of lemonade I could make, but I just don't care. I want to paint.
Paint.
Paint. You'll know it has gone crazy if I got to squeeze some lemonade. So doing this again, and if I want to soften it at this stage, I might miss the area, not the canvas directly, because that'll create little drops, and just go ahead and soften this. Anywhere, I just want to make sure
anywhere you want some more blendy, softy.
Yeah, it's just not a big deal. We're just trying to... I like to have a little glow in there for her in the center, and it's fun for me. But again, if you're brand new, just go orange. If you're brand new, go orange. And if you're here at the strong 2-hoot level, this is an excellent time to work on that keyhole blending skill that gives everybody so much grief. Right? And it does. So don't feel bad about it. It's a thing, right? Look at all the tools and things I have, and I'm still like, woo, blendy. Now, once I get this in, I definitely want to rinse both of my brushes out thoroughly and put them to the side for a washing later, because that's going to do a lot to keep your brushes happy and healthy. All right. Once I'm here to do the grid, I really need to dry the canvas. This is a great time for John to say hi to you and let you know about some of the resources and things you have going on. Maybe some hair drying tips depending on how long it takes me to dry this beautiful glowing orange canvas.
It's true. I do have a lot to say about air movers, surprisingly. So the most important thing, use low heat settings, because that student paints especially are subject to heat, and it can cause all sorts of problems, including making it sticky, causing color shift, stuff like that. So just don't use heat. Your pro paints generally don't have as much of a problem, but it's just best policy not to, because it's the air moving over it that cures it. Now, I will say thank you guys for coming and hanging out. Lots of people here to paint these cute little feeties, and I love seeing you guys join us for the 13 days of Halloween. Sorry that the gnomes have been off. There's been some technical gnomery, and the gnomes are our SMS delivery system. We have a text messaging system where you can message ArtSherpa or TheArtSherpa to 33222 and get our hair. But,
if you want to be in the gnome.
Yep, but those gnomes have been on strike the past couple days. They'll be back on tomorrow or Monday.
It's labor negotiations with the gnomes.
It has been. They've.
I'm not making. If you're going through a genuine strike right now, I'm not at all. I'm just talking about the gnomes. They're gnomes, you know.
They're changing their policies, and so we're going to be going with a different gnome union. There's
a more
a different group of guys.
Gnome union.
It's just a different group of gnomes.
Different group of gnomes.
But
you don't want to shade the gnomes, because I don't know how many gnome puns I can come up with. It could get out of hand fast.
It's true. But I think with
Let's
Gnome
talk
Reel,
about gridding.
Gnome Reel will come back again soon.
Okay. So here we have our 11 by 14 surface. Maybe you have it all orange. Maybe you've managed to pull off your keyhole. Maybe you did the keyhole, said no way, and just went orange. Any of these is perfectly acceptable. Take a deep breath and let it out. Take a deep breath and let it out, because you're about to finish up stage 1. Now, if you look at this fabulous little bit of measurement, right, this lets you know what lines you have to make. This is the center of your canvas, 5.5 inches and 7 inches. And then on each side, you have 2.5 or 8.5, 3.5 or 10.5. And we ignore my horizon line because it's not in there today. Take that out. But because you're going to be down here. But that's sort of basically what you need to know. And we're measuring from this corner over there. So that's your map if you want a grid. And I'm going to start out by making my top vertical marks, which are 2.5. See, I've just got kids chalk. 5.5. And I get it at CVS. I sometimes get it at Michael's, but it's been really popular at Michael's lately. So yay, Michael's. Carry some more kids chalk. Well, at least my local Michael's.
Locals.
Yeah. Local Michael's. I've noticed that my local Michael's is often sold out of products that I use on the show. I can't imagine what's happening. But you can always go online, and you can even find all my brushes and many of the products you see demoed here today, including this T-square.
Now,
so this is a really cool tool for straight lines.
I have it on
good authority.
Very good authority that there is a new episode of Supernatural we need to be watching.
No, yeah, we do. There's a big, and we are finishing the 13 Days of Halloween with Baby.
Oh, Staline just laid some stuff on me. I'm not even going to tell you.
Don't even, because I like to get my Sam and Dean in their organic, natural state. Don't be messing with it.
Oh.
Don't. I'm having some feelings.
Well,
So I'm going to measure from this side because this is the 2.5 inches.
Dean's got a message for you.
Dean has a message for me?
I think so.
All right, now I'm super curious, and you made me totally forget what I'm doing. I'm not supposed to be 2.5. 3.5, John. You almost threw off the grid.
You did it from the wrong side.
Y'all tell him to focus. 7 inches and 10.5, because you said Dean, and then my brain just went flatline. Because honestly, if a Winchester says something, a Sherpa listens.
It's true.
I absolutely believe in monsters. So I am listening to Bobby wherever he is. Mm-hmm. And to the Winchesters. I'm not sure I'd listen to Castiel. That's kind of an iffy, season by season kind of valuable advice. Y'all know what I mean. Like, it's like the actor, fantastic, amazing, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. But, the character, you got to watch him. So 2.5 inches here, 3.5 inches. That's how we orient this. Okay. Now, drawing this in. I'll give this a quick measurement so y'all know, because the shoes are going to go to the bottom of this. It is 1.5 inches from the bottom. Let's just add for ourselves a 1.5 inch line from the bottom. Sound good?
It does.
All right, that's going to be where our shoes end. See how we are drawing, but what we're using is planning to understand where objects are going, and we're going to just take in small squares, one little square at a time, and not be stressing ourselves out. So the first thing that we've got to do is look at the shoes, right? So my shoe the top of the shoe starts about there, about a 1/2 inch from the center line. And this shoe also a little bit over, but a 1/2 inch from the center line. These are fairly evenly spaced when you're doing these, right? That's where you're at. There is the top of the leg. Now the legs, what you want to do is you want to come from the top. It's best if you can avoid them from touching. I got them touching at first, but we really want to kind of keep them from touching. And the reason for that is not any sort of male patriarchy of women's body stuff. It's just because it's a neat orange line and you want to keep it. Looks pretty. So that's all that's going on there. And then you can kind of just run this straight line down into it. And then maybe this straight line right down into it. So it wasn't that hard to do the legs. And it is easy to have them get away from you. Now I'm so curious. I just want to stop teaching and go see what's there. You know you did that, right? That's you?
It was me?
Yeah, now I just want to know what Sam and Dean are up to.
Oh, well,
all I want to know.
I know.
Don't tell me, but that is what I want to know. Don't tell me. You'll be in trouble if you tell me.
I won't. Believe me. I'll just drop I'll insinuate all sorts of things.
And you know what? Often John insinuates things and then I go get into it and it was like nothing. So you got to be careful before you get too excited with John, because
it's true. It could be nothing.
It really could be nothing. Though that's not a good sign. He was like, it could be nothing, because then you know it's something. That's what my marriage is like. If you can see that nice little granny boot heel that we've got going there. And then the next line curves in and flares out like a bell bottom. Right? And we're going to take this curve up almost to the top, but not all the way to the top. And we flare that out like a bell bottom. And then I bring this down like a Manolo. I'm going to come over a few inches. And I don't want to take the boot all the way to the finishing line, but I do want it to come up a bit. So I'm going to curve that toe. See, I'm done. Get a nice little curve of the toe. Given that, I'm going to bring this down, and the little bit of this curve is going to come up like that and come back into the boot, and I bring that line forward. It's really some very pretty organic swoopy lines, but you can see with the grid, it's doable. You know, and again, if you've never painted before, use a Traceable. It's not cheating. And then we're going to do the same thing, pretty much almost exactly, on the other side. All right, we're bringing the little shoe thing up. It should be about the same size. Comes down. What do we got going on here? Another toe that comes up, but not all the way to the edge, because we like those little slivers of orange. We are not making any comments about anybody's anything. We are not. We are simply enjoying our glam boots. which are a lot of fun. Now, for fun, I may go ahead and curve, for my preference, my shins a little bit. I know the tutu is going to cover most of it, but it'll make me happy. Take that out. Take that center line out. So now I'm just going to take out the grid lines and chalk lines I don't need, right, with my damp brush. That's why we like the chalk, is it lets you do that. Isn't that nice? So you can get down to the drawing and... But I don't want to take out all of my bottom line because I'm going to be using that as the ground line. I may put some of that back once I'm there. Mm-hmm. And this is that great time then to come in and make any of those artistic line decisions that you might have preference for. So if you want to taper the ankles a bit or anything that you want to do around the boot, do it now.
Get your ankle taper on.
The other thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to put a little circle here. And I may bring him up so his legs are a little bit cuter, but he's one puffy little spider. That's going to go here. And then right here, you want to bring him down enough that he's below the tutu, is another puffy little spider. It's really not important how big you make the circle because you're going to make him super puffy. And then we're going to do a cool thing. We're going to put out some phthalo green. And by the way, you have just completed step 1. Let's take a little minute, sip our libations. I'm having sparkling ice, that vitamin water.
You know.
It is. It's vitamin water.
Mm-hmm.
Vitamins! And no sugar.
This would have been quite the scandalous painting in the 18th century.
Yes. This painting probably would have got me in a lot of trouble.
It's true.
It would have been like, isn't it cute? They'd have been like, the beach! What are you going to do? So you guys doing okay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everyone's having a fantastic
on, or we're taking a deep breath in?
Oh, everyone is there. This is great. Everyone's really having a good time. There's a lot of chat, a lot of goofing and chit-chatting in group. And guys, if you have not had a chance to join us in the live, please, please, please do. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really actually is. What you hear me digging out is one of my TheArtSherpa pouncers. So these are really cool because they have a little foam insert. They have a nice concave to keep your hand from cramping up because sometimes we stamp really hard or we bokeh hard. And it has a little dot, so you can use a dotting tool or something to get it out if it gets stuck up in there. So it's really fantastic in that way. I'm going to show you first how to use this. And I'm kind of changing up the order on the step-by-step because as you bokeh, you might want to have a little more room to put them. You know where your spiders are, you know where your legs are, but sometimes it's nice to have a little bokeh going behind things or in front of things. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come and you watch this. I pull this out like that, and then I'm going to come load it with some yellow.
Get your bokeh layering on.
Get my bokeh layering on. And I'm really going to make sure that this little bokeh sponge, it's my mid-size sponge, has yellow on it, and then I'm going to get a little green into it.
The number 2 round sponge.
And I may also put out a little bit of white, because sometimes it's nice with the white, kind of gets a little mint going. It does some cool stuff. I will also show you how to kind of bokeh a bit with like a brush. But this is basically what you do. And I know people who do it with marshmallows. You come, you press in, and then you twist. You press in and you twist. If you get bubbles, you just come back and twist. I like to layer. And this is sort of, what is this? This is sort of magic that's happening.
This is, yeah, little bubbles of magic.
Little pops of magic. You can get too much bokeh going, it is true. But mostly it's just a lot of fun to imply that there's a magical world that's going on. Now, make sure that you do rinse your sponge out because you don't want the acrylic paint to dry on the sponge. It just is not fun.
I will say that we are totally misusing the word bokeh, but it's, we're just saying it's out of focus stuff.
Yeah, the dots that one of the bokeh filters is not photography. Here, what else if I can do if I don't have your thing? Well, you can grab a round, what is this? This is a number 4 round bristle-on. Not really important what it is. I can get a little green and I can get some yellow. And it'll be a little bit different, but I can come in, just swirl around a little circle. See how I'm doing very lightly? So yeah, it's not quite the same by any means, but it ain't bad either.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the important thing. Look, and you know that because it doesn't look bad in with the bokehs that I have here, does it?
No, it doesn't.
So whatever way you want to do this, you just do you, boo.
Do you find that toasted or untoasted marshmallows work best?
Untoasted.
Untoasted.
I haven't really tested it, but that's the feedback I've been given, so I trust the feedback.
And don't eat them once you've used them for...
No, especially with cadmium paint. Cadmium paint, I know some of the warnings on paint levels freak everybody out. Most of that stuff isn't really important until you set fire to your paint or eat it or breathe it, really, honestly. They'll tell you if there's a fume. There's a big "don't breathe it" sign on the
And Yamini points
tube.
out, it's very... Keep your marshmallows for eating and use your Sherpa pouncers for making paint.
Yes.
That's...
Marshmallows for eating, Sherpa pounces for bokehing. Let me get my step-by-step, which got hidden behind my wonderful feet. And I'll show you where we kind of change the steps a bit. So if you're using the quick step guide, just letting you know. So I had put the bokehs in right after these, but I realized I did not really love that. I wanted to be able to get my stripes in after having put my bokeh in, just for ease. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes I'll do something, ponder it a little bit, and then be like, you
changed.
I might want to do that different. So to do the next part, I'm going to put out a little bit of my quinacridone. Quinacridone is always a lot of fun. And I'm going to put out my doxazine. Right? I've got a little white there, but I may put another little bit of white because I don't want any green or yellow in this. I want my colors to be bright. Here's the trick. If you're painting, hey babe, if you're painting student paint, paint the legs white. In other words, if you have very inexpensive, non-professional paint, you'll want to paint the legs white because the pigmentation on your paint's a little bit lower if you'd like those colors to be bright. I'm painting professional paint, and I like the little peaks of orange that happen between the pink and purple. It's cute, and they're colored enough that they cover this up. So that's why I can do it this way. And I will always try to tell you if there's something that I can do that you can't do, because your thing won't do that. And I'm going to go ahead and grab, this is a number 20 short handle bright by Ruby Satin. What I want is a brush that gives me a stripe about that wide. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of my purple over to my white, and I'm going to mix up a little bit of purple and white. Makes a lighter purple. The white will help the purple cover. And I'm going to go ahead and load it both sides. And I'm going to come here in between my chalk lines and just make a little purple stripe. And then I make a mark with my brush that lets me know how far up I got to go. And then I make another little stripe. And you can see my paint does not struggle.
Sorry, I missed exactly how you did that. Okay.
All right, let me do it again. I'm going to do it the whole way because I have to do that the whole way. So when I want to come up that distance again, I just make a mark. And that's how I get my even leg spacing. And the reason I start from the shoe up to the tutu is the shoe is showing the tutu will cover any goofs I made in measurements. You can hide them under the tutu. Any of your flaws, you can just hide under the tutu. All right, I'm going to come right here. Look at that. We're already striping it up. And even the orange and purple is super fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's all fun. Isn't she just a hoot? Her cat, we're painting her cat tomorrow.
Oh.
This is the witch that owns the cat.
That makes sense.
Doesn't it? See, sometimes I have whole plans. Like you just think you're just painting some Halloween themed paintings, but there was a plan afoot. But again, whatever I've got going on there, I'm going to hide under the tutu. Many, many sins can be hid under the tutu.
I once had a cunning plan.
Did you? Did it involve turnips?
Nope. Strategic sheep.
Oh, I have no, you know what? My family comes from Rollins, and we And my dad's family had sheep, and so I have no plans that involve sheep.
Yeah, it didn't work out.
The strategic sheep, because le mouton is very dangerous. Le mouton agressif.
Yeah.
We were like, man, the village of the damn sheep up in Pictinor, France.
Yeah.
Those sheep were not having the tourists. They were like, no, we hunt you. We're meat-eating sheep.
Everyone's looking forward to the cat.
Oh, the cat's going to be great. I'll show you guys the cat. If you haven't seen the cat, I'm sure you've seen the cat, but if you haven't seen the cat, I'll show you the cat at the end of the lesson. Can you see how we just used this wonderful brush to create a measurement?
Yeah.
I didn't have to like get a ruler out. I was like, nah. And see, we have a bit of a little stripe thing, but I can finish it here if I want. Because the tutu's got me. Tutu's going to come down to like here, so we're good. I'm going to rinse this out twice so that's completely out. I actually have 2 water jugs here that I vigorously rinse stuff out from. And now I'm going to take my pink, my quinacridone magenta, so doxazine purple, quinacridone magenta, and I'm going to go ahead and get a little white into that and make up some bright pink. And I just make little stripes where I didn't have purple stripes.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
That's all I got to do. It's fun, it's enjoyable, and the width of my brush covers it. That's all that's going on. Actually, I think these legs will even be cuter than my first legs. Because I practiced the technique. Practice is always helpful. Look at her stripy little legs. Is she awesome? Yes, she is. She's so awesome. Come here and stripe up this leg. Just come up the whole leg, making these little candy cane stripes. Guess what?
What?
Yes, there will be an elf this holiday season. So if you enjoyed this design, get ready for Mr. Elfishness. We will be doing a similar thing for Santa's elves. Because we awesome like that. So notice that my little stripes are not necessarily like, oh, I'm so perfect. Oh, I'm so perfect. Because I'm going to come blackline this all in a second. Therefore, I'm not really having to worry too much about it. If you are, though, if you're like, man, my edge is just crazy, you can always come with just some pink or just some purple along your line and sort of smooth it all up before you ever come with the black line. At least then the color there will be based in your tights. Does that make sense?
It does.
So if you're feeling some kind of a way, that's what you can do. Look at that. There we go. It's looking super good. And now you don't even have to worry like when you go black line it. And we've just completed step 2, yo. That's nice, right? I'm going to just get rid of this extra chalk here. And you see it's real easy to get rid of as we go. Now while I'm here though, I may take a minute and actually go ahead and mix my purple and white because it's like right here. I might even let a little pink get into it. I'm kind of cool with all that. And I'm going to go and paint this little ground. Sometimes, again, I may change the steps just because it's going to be easier. And I'm going to turn this upside down so I have an easier time with it and just brush back and forth. If, again, your student paints are not covering this, just paint it white first. Always. In fact, if you take nothing else from my tutorial, if you're painting like basics or the basic Artist Loft, not the Artist Loft Level 3, it handles just fine. Any of that and it's giving you any grief, try painting it white first. See if that doesn't help you get your bright colors back again. There we go. We've even painted the ground. That's how good we're doing. I'm kind of proud of us. Sipping, breathing in and out. Putting down the work week. Putting down the housework. Putting down the worry. Put it down. We can pick it back up again after we're done painting. Lord knows it'll be there. Laundry Mountain never, ever goes away. You know, this glass was super pretty with water in it. It's not as pretty with, like, sugar-free, sparkling. All right. Black shoes is next, and black lining is next. Bunch of stuff that you can do. You can use black paint from something like Deco Art out of the can, or you can get some black acrylic. Get some Mars Black. Put it out. Put out that Mars Black. Now, once you have decided what your where your black paint is going to go, keep it there because it's going to really muddy your water a lot. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. I'm going to dip it in, and I'm going to thin. See how I do that? I get a drop of water, one drop on my number 4 round, and I swirl it around. And I roll it out, and that's going to give me a nice thin line. And I'm going to come here on the outer edge of my calf. I'm going to go ahead and give her a little black line. Because this is sort of a rustic, primitive painting, guys, don't put a lot of pressure on yourself about this lining. It doesn't have to be, like, perfect. It just needs to be a black line.
Yep.
That follows the leg. I mean, don't have it go crazy to the left, but everything else is just fine. If you ever need to move your canvas to improve your experience when you're painting, do that. Don't move your body. Canvas, not your body. Don't hunch over your surface. If there's a way to make your surface hunch, do that. If that makes sense. Now, while these are having a bit of a dry, and you can see how that's anchored those legs down a bit, I'm going to go ahead and put in my toes with my little sharp brush, right? Because it's so nice and sharp. And I can even take this minute to, like, exaggerate them some. Because really in art, what we get to do is we get to exaggerate things. Doesn't have to be realism. So that's why I like to use the little round brush for painting in the shoes. Though I probably will switch to a bigger brush, like even the one I did the stripes with, just so when I paint the shoes in, they paint quickly. So you see me thinning it so it smooths out. With heavy body paint, if you're new to painting and you just got your first heavy body paint, the hardest thing about it is learning to modify it for smooth versus thick application. Right now, this would be a smooth application. Can you sing Smooth Operator, John?
Smooth.
I just gave John his worst nightmare.
I don't know.
He gets
Smooth.
really camera shy.
Yeah.
You can do it. You've got a good voice.
I don't know about that.
It's true. He does. He doesn't think he does. He does. He even has perfect pitch.
Well, it's good, not perfect. Above average.
That's when you know somebody's good, when they're like, it's above average. Then you're like, oh, dang, they're good.
No. I think it's like anything else. You can learn to see a color. You can learn to hear a note.
Yeah, but your mom sang for the Pope like a whole bunch of times. So I think there might be a genetic factor there for you, buddy.
I think like 4 times.
I love it. He's like, yeah, like 4 times. It's not big. Don't worry. It's not a big deal.
Well, no, it was just like kind
4
of
times.
sort of one of those things.
Like not 1 time, but 4 times.
But they were different popes. I guess it's not all the same pope.
It's not all the same one. You are crazy. I love you. So I'm just coming in and painting this all black. You know what? It just occurred to me that somebody at the Archdiocese might paint with us.
That, or one of the...
Hi! Do good work.
They could be at the the non-art. They could be at any place.
Well, for
Just-
sure, some Father Brown type absolutely does paint with us.
Dude,
I should be clear. I am not myself Catholic. I'm just sort of a fan of Father Brown and cool everything in my husband's family is.
I have to say, I would totally like to never meet Father Brown.
I know. John calls him Murder Brown.
He's
It's a show that was on the BBC of this really cute local priest who investigates murder. But the thing is, like, when you realize the size of his village and that every week there's a murder, you start to wonder what's going on in Murder Village.
And sometimes like multiple a day.
Yeah.
And they're like dropping like flies. His best friends are getting poisoned. It's like, dude, it's rough. I mean, like, I would rather go out to dinner with Dean and have a
It's
better
safer
chance
to
of
go out to
survivor.
dinner with Dean.
Oh yeah.
Dean will take care of you. There's a lot of ways to not be a red shirt if you're around Dean and Sam. There's not a lot of ways to not be a red shirt around Father Brown. It's anybody's guess who's going down. You can't tell. So you see, I'm just painting this all in black. Sometimes when we're doing a task like this where we're just painting in a field, we do tend to get a little goofy and chatty. No,
You do?
You do too.
What are you talking about? I'm the picture of professionality.
In what universe is okay? Only because you came from the video game industry.
Hey.
So that's the standard of professionalism you're aspiring to.
Well, hey, it works.
You should go ride your Segway over here. Okay, so
I didn't get a
I
segue.
am not trying to start it with anybody over at Blizzard. Please don't. We have so many Blizzard fans in our community. We love them. John plays WoW. There is love. So, wonderful black shoes, are they not?
They are.
They're just so cute. And I know we're being very careful and precious about painting them, but they're important. And actually, I probably can paint in the spiders while these are having a dry, and then I'll clean up the excess chalk.
That
So
makes
here
sense.
we go. Right? It's very good. It's very good. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to get my number 4 round again. I'm going to swirl it around, thinning the paint. But remember, if this part is hard, just grab craft paint. This one's really good. All right. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to just draw his little spider web. It's under the tutu. Don't be too stressed on it. Then, when I paint him in, I do this thing. I go, woo. You could probably also bokeh him in, but I start out by just making a little kind of quarter silver dollar size dot. Dip in the water. Come thin it again. And then I make the fluff. Fluff, 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 fluff. Fluff, 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 fluff,
Now,
fluff.
this, I'm noticing that you're
Fluff,
varying
fluff, fluff,
the
fluff.
thickness and a little bit of the direction as you're doing your fluffing.
Fluffing, yeah, I'm on the tippy toe of my brush, on just the point of it. It's well loaded. You can see it's all loaded and juicy in the brush. If I'm losing the load off my tip, I just come back, roll it out, and reload here. And I can come in just... If you got to turn your little fluffy dude, turn your little fluffy dude. I do. The big trick to having this work is tippy toe of a brush so you get the little pointy little hairs, right? And have a lot of it. Take some time. Take time to fluff your adorable little weird not scary spider. And we all know I'm afraid of spiders, so you know he's super not scary.
Yeah.
He's not a scary spider. Look how fluffy
He could
is.
be a soot creature.
All right, I have owned this before. Yes, this is very Studio Ghibli as far as
He's very sooty. He could
spiders go. He's very, if you're like going, this looks like Grandpa Ghibli. Yes, that is true.
Well, you know, there's nothing wrong with being inspired a little bit there.
There isn't anything wrong with being inspired. Just know where your inspiration comes from.
That's true. It's just don't be like, you know.
Confused all about it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here I go. Fluff, 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 fluff. Fluff, 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 fluff. It helps to say the words. Fluff, 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 fluff. And if you're doing it with me, you have made a good choice. Fluff, 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 fluff. Fluff, 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 fluff. Also, I'm kind of curious what closed captioning is going to do with fluff, 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 fluff. Watch my video get demonetized because of a misspelling. Good times. Good YouTube times. I love you, babe.
I love you too.
Fluffy, fluffy, fluff, fluff, fluff. And remember, your spider can have a totally bad hair day. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows. I'm not going to come in, kick in your door, and find your significant other, family members, and friends and say, our spider's wrong. That's never going to happen. I'm going to validate your spider. This is you painting, and I respect that. Look at that. He's all fluffy, fluffy. Mm-hmm. Now, once you have fluffy spiders, you got to give them funny little legs. And it's very hard to give somebody long little legs that are not creepy. So to do that, I kind of do this little thing where I come to the front of him and I'm going to make a little bend. And then I'm going to come down and I go foot. The feet help. And I make a little bend and then I come down and go foot. I got to fit 4 of them in here. Otherwise, it's not an arachnid. Some other bug.
Linda
that's
thinks
fluffy.
This is also very itsy bitsy spider.
Yes.
So you can kind of go either
but like
way.
A la Toca Boca, man. Parents just went, ha! If you've had to buy all the Toca Boca games, I send my love to you. I know how you feel, Mom and Dad.
He could also be a little Rolando creature.
Mm-hmm. But you can see they're just sort of whimsical little legs. They're not little precision instruments here. They're just little funny little legs with things that feel foot-like.
Mm-hmm.
Now here we get to have a lot of fun because we've got to fit in some legs around her shoe. So I'm going to come here and maybe bend one out. This time I will come down and go, shoe, right there. I gave it a bent one. Right? And then we can go, boop. Just giving it some leg. She's got a bow too, so it's not a lot of pressure. We just want it to feel like, he's got some place to stand. She's not stressed about it. These are like pets, so she's not freaking out like I would be freaking out. Maybe I wouldn't freak out for this spider. Maybe it's like Lucas. It's a spider exception.
Mm.
Just make sure you got 4. And
On
here's
each
why.
side.
Is it important that you have 4? No, it's not actually important that you have 4. I'm going to make 2 little lips on the shoes. I'm going to make them kind of more Doc Marteny. It's that you will have some sort of, entomologist who's going to come up and tell you how many legs spiders have. And if you don't want to have that happen every Halloween, just give them 8. This is years of painting experience. Every Christmas, not every Christmas, but every Halloween party, if you don't give them 8 legs, you're going to have somebody that comes over and is like, fun fact, spiders have 8 legs, not 6.
Mm.
Then you're going to be like, fun fact, I spiked the punch with something scary, but I won't tell you which punch bowl. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and dry this while John explains my crazy sense of humor.
I don't know if that's even possible. I can't do that. What I can say is, thank you guys for coming and being part of it. I feel blessed to have you guys here. It's really wonderful to come and have these sort of funky paint-along things that we do. So thank you for being part of 13 Days of Halloween. Don't forget to check in the link in the description down below where you'll find resources for all the cool things we did today. A list of materials, traceable, step-by-step stuff, link to the website. I think that's, I don't know what else you would need. Now, if you have not joined us in a live and you're watching this on the rerun, I highly suggest you come join a live. They're a lot of fun. We do shenanigans stuff. And as you can see from the chat, it's pretty cool. So thank you guys who've made it for hanging out. And I look forward to all of you who haven't made it to make it out. And look, there's Cinnamon doing stuff. Oh, and There's some news. I've been doing some. Whoop, you're back.
That's fine.
I left you on a cliffhanger. I was
You
like,
did?
ooh, I got news, and then you came back.
Do you want to give the news, or you can just let it be on the cliff?
I don't know.
You know, it's up to you, babe. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life.
Oh, got it. I got some new. I got a new bubble machine.
That's true. He did.
It's not. You know, it was bad though. It was defective, which is why it's not working right now.
Why didn't you tell me about it?
I've got a new one on the way. It'll be here tomorrow.
I got you a big giant, sparkly thingy, but not today.
But it was broken.
It was broken.
I'm trying.
I'm going to take something. This is called an artist knife. This is from my TheArtSherpa palette knife set, but you can use any plastic palette knife. I just like these. I'm going to grab a little bit of my green and a little bit of my phthalo blue, and I mix it kind of 1-to-1. 1 part phthalo green, 1 part phthalo blue. Right? Like you do. I'm going to put out a little more white paint while I'm at it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add some tutu. Do you tutu? I'm also going to add the eyes. Now, so let's look at this where we're at on our step-by-step. We are pretty much solidly getting ready to go here.
Ooh.
So for this step, I got to add little eyes, and I got to add this little fun tutu. And then all we have left, guys, is bows and laces.
Yeah.
And once you learn this, you can make her any old way you want. So, having done this a few times, the first thing you're going to want to do is grab your white paint and thin it with cleaner water, right? You don't want to use your black water because it will make your white paint all muddy. Or use craft paint, or get your golden fluid paints, whatever you've got. And you're going to make 2 little roundish eyes on your little spiders. Really, just little round eyes, 2 of them. You could do 1. I almost gave them both little hearts there to make them even cuter. So you would like them more.
Because anything with heart eyes you like more.
That's right. Well, I actually thought they should have little hearts, like heart. Oops, sorry. Give them a little mustache here for a second. There's really no end to how playful you can be with this stuff.
True.
But this will let that dry so that you can put in your center dots and your stuff. Now, I'm going to grab my number 8 cat's tongue. This is that right there. Dip it in some water. I'm going to load it with my turquoise color, and I'm going to add some white so we can really see it, but it's loosely mixed. And what that means is that I'm not thoroughly incorporating the color. It's all kind of marbled on the brush. And I'm going to come here, and I'm going to just make downward little strokes that are going to kind of radiate out like a fan. Come down here, and then they'll start to go this way. Because it's 2-2.
It's not a 3-3 or a 1-1.
It's a 2-2.
2-2.
You can see why I wasn't that stressed about his little stringy. Because I knew the 2-2 was going to get out of bounds and go over there in front of him. The big thing is you just want it to be very turquoise at the top so it looks like a solid 2-2. You can totally see how the elf is happening this Christmas, aren't you? Elves and gnomes will be here for the holidays, snow globes and trees and all of that. And I'll get to count up how many holiday paintings I've already done.
Mm-hmm.
They were just 2-2ing it up. Right? When you have a nice layer in, sometimes it's nice to come back with like your brush sort of heavily loaded with white and make some highlight layers on the 2-2.
Oh, yeah.
Little highlight layer on the 2-2. Never hurt nobody.
Everybody likes the 2-2 layer.
2-2 layer is a very fun layer. And of course she'd have a 2-2. She's awesome. Look at her pet spiders. She's so cute. dun, 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 dun. I just paint it till I feel satisfied.
I think that's pretty awesome.
I like it. So while everything's here, I'm going to go ahead and get my brush, dip it in water, swirl around some of the turquoise paint that I have. Make sure it's just on the toe of my brush there. And I'm going to outline their little eyes. with blue, which sort of ties them all in, doesn't it?
Mm.
And then when you have that all tied in, just grab some black, man, and load it up on your brush and get it on a little tip so you can give them little eyeballs to look out at you from. Look at that. Little eyeballs to look out at you from. So cute. Yes, my own art does amuse me. I'm sorry. It's a thing that's
I
really
love
happens. To do the laces, that's our last step. Check this out, right? So here we go. Our last step is the laces, and then we're done. And then tomorrow is the cat, and I'll show you that again at the end. So I'm going to get a little of my yellow and a little of my green. Kind of load it up together.
Then you know it's after the cat.
Baby.
A 1967 Chevy Impala.
It is true. So I like to come here and I make a little lace and I make a little lace. And it's just a little short stroke. Look at that. Right there. And then I'm going to do, oh, don't touch your turquoise paint. It is wet. Look at that.
Ah.
Don't do that. I will just do the very rare, just paint around my canvas. It is helpful to have the same number of laces on both sides. When you get that in, I think it's kind of fun to grab some green and some yellow. Maybe more yellow than you might think. There we go. That nice like loose mix on the tip of the brush. And I'm going to come here. And how I like to do the bows, I like to go stroke, stroke. That's the center of my bow. And I come up. And I go like that. I make that little kind of little B letter. So you can see it's a little darker in the green. And I'll highlight it with a little white, yellow, green in a minute. And then I just throw off some little, there we go, some little laces. See how they're like little S curves?
Yeah.
Playful stuff. What do we do here? Stroke, stroke. Now the bow, I'm going to kind of try to tuck it up here so it doesn't interfere with him. I will move an object in the painting to preserve something I think is cute or awesome. It's enforced perspective.
Makes sense.
You know what? You can explain anything in your painting, so I just say, like, you paint how you want to paint, and then you just come up with a good artist statement. And then I'm going to bring both of these back. There we go. That's pretty nice. Rinse that out. I'm going to come here with a little bit of white while it's on my mind. And I'm going to just make a little kind of grommet mark. See how we're doing? Little grommet mark. If it's behind the bow, there's no point in putting the grommet mark. You don't even got to worry about it.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to get a bunch of yellow. Notice I didn't even take the white off on my brush. A little white and a little yellow where the green is. And I'm going to come in on my laces, making a little lace highlight. It's a weird thing, but it does make a difference to the way the painting looks.
Mm-hmm.
See, it just makes those little laces pop. That contrast is John is always so excited about. How are we doing?
Very good.
We painted something.
This is fantastic.
It's just a lot of fun. I think it's going to be loved every Halloween. 1, 2. There we go. And I come up here and there. I'm just kind of doing these like little light kind of white, yellow, green highlights. See that?
Yeah.
You need a little more yellow, you just come get it. And then I like to just do some here on this part because it makes it seem like the ribbon is turning.
Mm.
It's just a weird trick you can do when you're painting and everything's okay. Let's come and put a little bit there, a little bit there. Good stuff. A little bit here, a little bit there. I don't want to forget my highlight on my center bow. Stroke, stroke. I wonder how many of you go that and say that with me. Go stroke, stroke. There we go.
You have a few popular sayings.
Look at us. We just painted a glam witch.
Wow.
Cute witch's shoes, cute adorable witch's legs. I know this particular holiday season I kind of went non-scary. I'm like I may creep it up next year, but I'm so glad we have so many really super adorable pieces. I'm going to go ahead and get my #1 monogram liner, which is one of my favorite brushes to sign with, and I'm going to grab just my bright yellow green color onto the tip of it. I think it'll all tie in beautifully together. And I'm going to come down here and put my name in. And you'll notice, yes, you can see my signature, but I haven't done it in a way that changes the whole composition of the painting. And I do try to be thoughtful with, I'm going to fix that boo-boo up there. I do try to be thoughtful with my, I know, I just made fingerprints, so I didn't want some. There we go. Now it's perfect. So there we go. We glam witch. Be thoughtful with our signature. Would you like to see tomorrow's painting? Just in case.
To see. Yes.
Just in case you didn't know what we were doing tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
What size is it going to be? 11 by 14. What colors are we going to use? We're going to use phthalo blue, phthalo green, quinacridone magenta, dioxazine purple, cad yellow medium, black.
You know what, though? This kitty, you have to take a step forward because I'm going to show them. This kitty says, "Look into my eyes."
He's so cute.
Oh, he does. He's like, oh. So we're going to do that cat tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to do that cat tomorrow. Already up on his webpage is his traceable, is his step-by-step, is all that extra information that you need, the materials, the links. So if you want to be super ready, it's noon tomorrow if you're here for the live stream, Central Standard Time. If you don't want to miss it, sign up for the text notifications from us because we send out a text. So there we go. I'm going to put him aside because we'll see him tomorrow. I don't even remember what I painted this one tonight. Sometimes like I really have to like look at
what
both
did I
and
just
be like,
paint?
which one did I paint? But I remember he had the funnier stance. Okay, I'm going to put this right here. So we did that. I said goodbye. Wow, you got it today. I love her shoes. I would buy those shoes, right? When you buy those shoes.
Yes, I would.
So hopefully you followed along every step. Remember, yours isn't supposed to look exactly like mine. It's supposed to look like yours. We're just supposed to have some cute witch's shoes at the end of this together. But the big thing you're supposed to take away from tonight is that you feel a little more creative, a little more relaxed. You had a second to hear yourself and to listen to yourself. And that is a very precious thing in today's world where everything is coming at us a million miles an hour, telling us how to think and feel about everything. I want you to be good to yourself. Take that extra time and do a little self-care. Be good to each other because kindness is a seed that grows and blooms. You never know when. And I want to see you in an easel really soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.